What if I told you that there's a secret language that governs the entire world of organic chemistry? A hidden code that, once you know it, lets you predict how millions of different molecules will act. Well, today we're going to crack that code.
I mean, how do we make sense of it all? Just think about the sheer number of molecules out there. It's kind of mind-boggling. So how on earth can a chemist look at a brand new molecule and have any clue if it's going to work as a drug or even just dissolve in water? There has to be a system, right?
All right, section 1, a million molecules. And to really get a feel for the scale we're up against, let's just zoom in on one tiny corner of the chemical universe, the molecules that actually interact with our bodies. Okay, look at this number, almost 2.9 million. That's the number of unique bioactive molecules cataloged in just one single database. And that's not even the whole picture. It's just an overwhelming amount of information to try and sort through. It's this immense, and let's be honest, seemingly chaotic world. It'd be like trying to read a library where all the letters in the books were just jumbled randomly. Without some kind of system, some organizing principle, it would be pure chaos. You'd never be able to find a pattern or predict anything. So let's get to section 2, chemistry's secret code. Because thankfully, there is an organizing principle. A really simple, almost elegant idea that brings all of that chaos into order. This is that secret code we've been talking about. And that code is something called the functional group. Honestly, the best way to think about them is like Lego bricks. You know how a classic 2x4 red brick always connects the same way, no matter if you're building a spaceship or a house? Well, a functional group is just like that. It's a specific little cluster of atoms that behaves in a predictable way, no matter how big and complicated the rest of the molecule is. And what's so cool is just how simple these code words really are. You've got the alcohol group, the carboxylic acid, the amine. These are like the main characters that keep showing up in the story of chemistry. Once you learn how to spot them, you start seeing the patterns absolutely everywhere. All right, section 3, how molecules behave. So these groups aren't just for giving molecules fancy names. No way. They are the key to predicting how a molecule is actually going to behave out in the real world. And a great place to start is with something super basic. Will it dissolve or not? You've probably heard that old chemistry saying, like dissolves like, right? Well, it all comes down to forces. Water is what we call polar. You can think of water molecules as a bunch of tiny little magnets that love to stick to each other and to other magnetic things. But then you have something like biphenyl here, which is nonpolar. It's got no magnetic handles, so to speak. Water has nothing to grab onto, so they just don't mix. It's what we call hydrophobic, which literally means water-fearing. And this is where the power of functional groups really shines. Let's watch this in action. We'll take an alcohol, which has that water-loving OH group. Okay, step 1, methanol. It's got just one carbon, the polar OH group easily wins out, and it dissolves completely in water. Easy. Now step 2, butanol. We've upped it to 4 carbons. Now that nonpolar hydrophobic chain is starting to put up a fight. It's only kinda soluble. Then step 3, octanol. Now we're at 8 carbons. That big, greasy, hydrophobic tail totally wins the tug of war. The OH group just can't overcome it, and it basically doesn't dissolve. See, it's the same functional group, but the context, the rest of the molecule, really matters. But what if we could give that functional group a superpower? A charge. Because adding a charge changes everything. Take a look at benzoic acid. It's got that big nonpolar ring. So yeah, it's pretty insoluble in water. But if we tweak the conditions and give its functional group a negative charge, bam! That charge is like a super powerful magnet for water. It's so strong it can literally drag that big, clunky, hydrophobic part of the molecule right into the water with it. It's a total game changer. Okay, on to section 4. Can AI find them? So for over a century, this whole idea of functional groups has been the bedrock of chemistry. It's fundamental. But what if an AI that knows literally zero chemistry could discover them all on its own? Could it be done? Well, that's the exact question a group of researchers decided to ask. They put it this way: are the patterns that are most fundamental to chemistry also the patterns that are most fundamental to information itself? Are the things that chemists think are important the same things a computer would find just by looking for the most common patterns? So how would you even test something like that? The answer is data compression. It's a pretty simple idea, really. Think about how you text. Instead of typing, by the way, every single time, you just type BTW. It's shorter, it saves space. That's compression. You find the common, repeating patterns, and you create a shortcut for them. Well, these researchers did the exact same thing, but they fed an AI nearly 3 million molecules and told it, find the best shortcuts, find the most common, repeating patterns. And the result, honestly, it's just incredible. Take a look at this. These are the top 15 patterns the computer came up with. Now remember, this AI had 0 chemistry lessons. All it did was look for the most efficient way to describe the data. And what did it find? The carbonyl group, the amide, the benzene ring. It independently rediscovered the classic functional groups that chemists have been using for a century. This proves it's not just some convenient system we humans made up. It's a real, fundamental pattern that's literally woven into the fabric of the molecular world.
And this isn't just some abstract theoretical exercise. The whole reason these patterns are so common is because they do things. They're the action heroes of the molecule. That beta-lactam ring you see in penicillin, that's the part that kills bacteria. The core structure of diazepam, you probably know it as volume, that's what makes it work. That specific group on ibuprofen, that's what fights pain and inflammation. The functional group is, well, it's where the function is. It's right there in the name.
Okay, final section, why it matters. So let's bring this all home. Why is this secret code, this whole idea, so incredibly important? Well, it's because functional groups are basically the alphabet of chemistry. And if you know the alphabet, you can start to read the language. They let us predict properties, they're absolutely essential for designing new drugs, and they're the key to understanding biology, how proteins, DNA, and all the stuff that makes us actually works. At the end of the day, they take that chaotic world of millions of molecules and make it make sense. They bring order to the beautiful chaos. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? For the longest time, the idea of the functional group just seemed like a smart system humans came up with, a good way to organize things. But this research, it suggested something more, a fundamental truth about our universe, that a machine could find just by sifting through data. So it makes you wonder, if an AI can rediscover the language of chemistry, what other fundamental rules of science are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be found in the data we already have?